Hello, this is SXE Blues, and if you'll bear with me, this is going to be my first attempt at doing a review, so sit back, relax, hike up your seat, grab the popcorn. This is going to be my review of Superman Earth 1, written by J. Michael Straczynski, pencils by Shane Davis, inks by Sandra Hope, colors by, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but Barbara Ciardo, lettered by Rob Lee, and of course Superman, created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. What I want to do is preface this with the dedication from J. Michael Straczynski. I'm just going to read what this says because I love it. For as far back as I can remember, I would get a thrill of excitement every time I saw this symbol, the Superman shield. If you experienced the same thing, if you've ever worn that symbol on a t-shirt, doodled it on the back of your notebook, or had it tattooed on your arm, if you understand what that symbol means, that all things are possible, then this book is dedicated to you. That, in and of itself, I think is a pretty cool sentiment. Now, getting into the story and the execution, and by the way, on the reverse of the hardcover, I think it's really cool that among the many names that are, giving applause to this, Harlan Ellison actually has some pretty nice words to say about it. So, if you can get his approval, win, as far as I'm concerned. But this is supposed to be a modern take on Superman, and on a lot of things that I've heard online, people say, oh, this is emo Superman, and he's not sure of his place in the world, and after losing his world and not really understanding where he came from, losing Jonathan Kent, his adoptive father, he's kind of, he feels like an outcast. He knows he's different. He knows he's from somewhere, but he doesn't know where, really. And he just doesn't fit in. He knows he's kind of got this abnormality sense about himself. And what this basically begins with is his first trip to Metropolis and trying to figure out his place in the world. And we see him, going out for various different possible careers. One is to become a professional football player. Another is maybe getting work in, sciences. And but Metropolis is not the dream world he probably thought it would be, because on his first night there, he's basically mugged in a back alley. And, of course, he's more than adequately prepared to handle that, but it's definitely, removing the rose-colored glasses he might be looking at the city through. What I definitely think is cool is the build-up to, and the flashbacks in reference to his ultimate destiny. What will he do with the powers he has? Will he use them for his own gain, to take care of his, surviving adoptive parent, Martha Kent, which is pretty much his goal from the outset. He wants to just make money and support her, and he doesn't really, care about anything else. One of the things that happens is he goes into the Daily Planet and basically tries to get a job there after he's already exhausted every other potential possibility of, things he could do with his abilities. And, he kind of sort of gets the brush off from a real cutthroat-esque Perry White. He has a brief run-in with Daily Planet mainstays Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. And, but his story continues from there. He returns to his apartment in Metropolis Motel, I believe it is, and the place is completely set on fire. And this coincides with what we'll say, to not get into spoilers, a basically oncoming storm that is going to lead to his making a decision. The focus of that decision being, are you going to live, frivolously, or are you going to stand up and be who you need to be? And he doesn't want to be that. But, I like a lot of the hearkening back to words between him and his father Jonathan on that level, being able to stand up and make that decision when you have to, even when you don't want to, that kind of thing. Very Superman-esque storyline and mindset and things of that sort. Where it goes from there is very interesting, because what it takes for him to make that decision and become who he wants to be, I'm not going to say definitely how that happens or, what provokes him, but that the title is Superman, so he's going to end up there at some point. But there are a lot of interesting things that happen that make him make that decision, and I really like the little human quirks in his fellow soon-to-be associates that prompts him to have faith in humanity when, for all intents and purposes, he's felt like an outsider and he hasn't felt like one of us, essentially. But it's a very nice thread that this whole piece walks, where I felt it pretty identifiable. I mean, if you've ever walked, the hallways at school and not really felt like you fit in, or, felt like the loner or the outsider, or, antisocial, as they call it, if you've ever had doubts about yourself, if you were ever not sure you could meet a challenge, these are very basic, very real things that you can identify with, that this story encapsulates very well. And, of course, you wish you could be Kal-El from Krypton. You wish you did have those powers, but it's a very real sentiment that is rife through the piece, that you don't need to be. You don't need to have these abnormal, special, super abilities to rise to a challenge, to be the best person you can be. And I really like it. So I'll definitely give it 5 out of 5. I don't understand why so many people, I've seen many things where people have said, this isn't my Superman, and, things of that nature, and, again, the emo Superman and things like that. Just negative sentiments that I don't really understand, because, there is no one absolute take on Superman. Another great book was Superman Birthright, and it's, not quite like this, but it's basically giving you a new spin on Superman's origins. And, there have been many versions of that story, whether on film, on TV, in the comics that started it all, or in graphic novels like this. And I just really think this is a, seminal piece of work. So, applause from me, definitely, and I hope you enjoyed this somewhat short, I guess, review at just under 10 minutes. But in any case, I definitely suggest you go out, pick it up if you haven't already, and see you next time. This is SXE Blues, signing off.